Kennedy Agyapong, the most boastful, arrogant and abusive politician in Ghana, finally defeated by Anas Aremeyaw Anas in a US court. For years, Kennedy Agyapong, the loud-mouthed member of parliament for Asin Central, has portrayed himself as untouchable. He brags about his wealth, hurls insults at his opponents, and carries himself as though he is above the law. He has used his influence in Ghanaian politics to intimidate, silence, and manipulate systems to his advantage. But even the so-called wealthy and untouchable have their limits. After years of attacking investigative journalist Anas Aremeyaw Anas, Kennedy Agyapong finally lost a defamation lawsuit against him in the United States. The US court ordered Agyapong to pay a staggering $18 million in damages for the lies and defamatory statements he made against Anas. This is a significant victory for truth and justice, and a stark reminder that even the most powerful and corrupt individuals can be held accountable when they step into a legal system that is fair and uncompromised. Had this case been left in the hands of Ghana's judicial system, we all know how it would have ended. Ghana's courts have a long history of favoring the rich and politically connected. In fact, when Anas first brought his defamation case against Agyapong in Ghana, the courts shockingly ruled in favor of Agyapong, dismissing Anas's claims and awarding costs against him. This ruling was not surprising to many Ghanaians who have witnessed time and again how corrupt and lawless the country's judiciary has become. In Ghana, money speaks louder than justice. If you are wealthy and politically connected, you can manipulate the system in your favor. You can bribe your way to victory and walk free, no matter the gravity of your crimes. Kennedy Agyapong has always boasted about his wealth and his ability to buy his way through the system. He carries himself with an air of arrogance, behaving as if no law applies to him. And, as expected, he used his influence to sway the courts in Ghana, ensuring that Anas lost the case. But the US courts are not like Ghana's courts. They cannot be bribed. They do not favor the rich and powerful. The moment Agyapong stepped into a system that values justice over money, he lost, and he lost big. One of the darkest moments in Ghana's fight against corruption was the murder of investigative journalist Ahmed Hussein Swale. Ahmed was a key partner of Anas in his Tiger Eye PI investigations, exposing high-level corruption in Ghana. Before his tragic death, Kennedy Agyapong went on his TV station Net 2 and recklessly displayed Ahmed's face and identity to the public. In a country where investigative journalists work in secrecy to protect their lives, this was nothing short of an open invitation for harm. Agyapong went as far as calling on people to deal with him wherever they found him. Not long after, Ahmed Swale was shot dead by unknown assailants in Accra. Many Ghanaians immediately pointed fingers at Agyapong, suspecting his direct involvement, or at the very least, his encouragement of violence against the journalist. Yet, despite this, the Ghanaian authorities did nothing. Instead of launching a serious investigation to hold Agyapong accountable, the government protected him. The police failed to make any serious arrests, and the case was eventually swept under the carpet. In a country where justice exists only for the rich and powerful, Ahmed's killers continue to walk free, and Agyapong continues his arrogant display of impunity. When the new Patriotic Party, NPP, came to power, they promised to fight corruption with full force. They even praised Anas for his relentless investigations, using his work as evidence that Ghana needed serious reforms. But as soon as Anas exposed corruption within their own government, the NPP quickly turned against him. Instead of supporting his work, they launched a campaign to discredit him. Kennedy Agyapong became their attack dog, using his platform to insult, defame, and destroy Anas's credibility. The very government that once promised to adopt Anas's methods in fighting corruption ended up fighting against him instead. Why? Because Anas was exposing the truth, and the truth was too dangerous for those in power. After the Ghanaian courts unjustly ruled in favor of Kennedy Agyapong, Anas knew that he could never find justice in a system that was rigged against him. So he did the smartest thing possible. He took the case to the United States. The defamatory remarks were disseminated through The Daddy Fred Show, an online program popular among Ghanaian audiences in the United States. This program was broadcast from New Jersey, where Kennedy Agyapong owns property. The U.S. court established jurisdiction based on the following considerations. Location of the broadcast. The interview containing the defamatory statements was conducted and aired from New Jersey, directly connecting the content to that jurisdiction. Defendant's ties to the jurisdiction. Kennedy Agyapong's ownership of property in New Jersey provided a tangible link to the state, further justifying the court's authority to preside over the case. Strategic legal considerations. Anas's decision to pursue the case in the U.S. was also influenced by strategic legal considerations. Prior legal outcomes in Ghana. After the Accra High Court dismissed his defamation suit in Ghana, Anas sought an alternative legal avenue where he might achieve a different outcome. Potential for a fair hearing. Filing the lawsuit in the U.S. offered Anas an opportunity to present his case in a different legal system, potentially leading to a more favorable judgment. These factors collectively influenced Anas's decision to file the defamation lawsuit in the United States after the Ghanaian court's ruling. Unlike Ghana, the U.S. legal system is not controlled by politicians. It does not bow to wealth and influence. It operates on the principles of fairness, truth, and justice. And true to form, the U.S. courts delivered justice. They saw through Kennedy Agyapong's lies and ordered him to pay a crushing $18 million in damages. This ruling sends a clear message. No one is above the law. Money cannot buy justice in a system that values truth. The corrupt may win in Ghana, but they cannot escape international accountability. This is a lesson for every Ghanaian who has lost faith in the country's judicial system. Sometimes, real justice is found outside Ghana's borders. The path forward, the fight against corruption must continue. Kennedy Agyapong's defeat in the U.S. is a victory for journalism, a victory for truth, and a victory for Ghana. But the fight is not over. Anas and his team must continue their work. They must keep exposing corruption, no matter how dangerous it is. They must remain vigilant, even as powerful forces try to silence them. Ghanaians must wake up. We cannot allow corrupt politicians like Kennedy Agyapong to control the narrative. We must demand accountability. We must support investigative journalists like Anas, who risk their lives to expose the rot in our system. And most importantly, we must never forget the sacrifice of Ahmed Suale. His death must not be in vain. Those responsible must be held accountable, no matter how long it takes. Subscribe to Ghana AI News, the home of unfiltered truth. At Ghana AI News, we bring you the real stories, the ones they don't want you to hear. We expose corruption. We uncover the truth. We refuse to be silenced. Subscribe to Ghana AI News today and stay informed with real, unfiltered, and fearless journalism. Justice may be slow, but in the end, truth always wins.